Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, helping you raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Let's talk today about motivation. I have 3 reasons for you as to why motivation may be lacking in your life. If you feel unmotivated or you struggle to motivate yourself towards the things that you want to do in life, you feel like you're shut down or tired or exhausted and struggle to get the motivation to move towards the things that you desire, there may be a few reasons why. So the first would be there is a lack of soul nourishment. So if you are not spending time doing the things that feed your soul essentially is kind of sucked dry. There's a breaking point where we can only force ourselves to do so many things that we don't enjoy before we hit sort of the bottom of the barrel where the soul has nothing left to give and it needs to be fed, right? We have to feed our soul. And yes, things like grounding and yoga and meditation, eating right, all of the yummy, healthy things that are good for us, they do help. But oftentimes I find that my soul needs a little bit more. And my soul food is going to be unique to me. I loved dancing when I was a kid. I wanted to be a backup dancer more than anything else in the world. I wanted to go to gymnastics, things of that nature. That's a natural need and urge and desire from my soul. And unfortunately, that was not something that my family provided. And so I got to see the other side of that. What does it look like when we don't follow our yearning and our soul's desire? Another thing was rock climbing. I love adventures and going into new places and exploring and doing things a little bit on the edge. And these are the kinds of things that make my soul come alive, right? Finding a new piece of music, when the notes of that music vibrate my body at a cellular level, something happens. It's like my soul is fed or nourished. And that can be very different. Whereas if I were to spend a day doing yoga and meditation and grounding and eating healthy, I feel good. I do feel better, but there's still a little something in me that wants that that yes feeling, right? That this is it. And so you need to identify, what is that for you? What are the things that you really, really, truly love? And this can be difficult if you've come from a unsafe family, or you've experienced traumatic or toxic relationships. We lose sight of who we are and what our soul needs. So really spend time journaling, looking back at what did you enjoy as a child before the world changed you. Look for those things that turn you on and light you up. Right? Number 2 would be forcing yourself to do things that are not divinely inspired or aligned action. It will make you feel unmotivated because there's a part of you that knows this isn't quite right for me. And sometimes we come from the egoic place. I want to build this business so that I can have money, so that, right, at the end of the day, what you really want is to feel free and to have peace and happiness. And so that motivation may not necessarily be aligned action for you, and so you'll feel sort of that shutdown. In fact, it's kind of like having to pull yourself out of bed versus push yourself out of bed versus being pulled out of bed, right? That there's a natural pull where you don't have to force yourself to be motivated when it's aligned, divinely guided action. Right? So don't should all over yourself, and really be careful and look at your motivations and your goals. Sometimes they can be very egoic, and sometimes they can actually even be too honorable, where there's a self-sacrificing in the goal, because we feel like I have to do this honorable thing to prove my worthiness or to prove my value. Right? So let me turn that off. Sorry about that. So pay attention to the emotions that come up when you think about this thing that you're going to do. Your emotions are your guidance system. So if you're telling yourself you have to do this thing and you feel like crap, then there's something about it that you need to pivot. And it may not mean that you don't do the thing. It may mean that you need a new perspective around the thing, right? We need to find a better why. We need to find a better motivation, a better reasoning. Right? What is your intention behind the things that you do? This is really critically important. And you'll notice that VIBE is always capitalized because it's an acronym for me. It's value and intention-based education. So what is your value? What is your purpose? And what is your intention? Is it egoic? Is it overly honorable? Or is it divinely inspired? right? So really look at your intention behind the decisions and the goals that you set and choose. And then pay attention to your body. Your body is far wiser than the brain. The brain is often the last to know. And remember, God eternal within the body is written on our DNA. So source, creator, divine, all that is within you. And your body is extremely intelligent. It is the most tremendous gift our soul has ever been given. The mother that holds and nurtures your soul. So look at your body not as a meat suit, but as a tuning fork, or even I guess you could say divination tool. I think of like the arrow on a compass, right? That it's helping us kind of navigate and figure out what is the right path. And so take time to try things on. Sit in that emotion and say, I'm going to do this thing. How does that feel in your body? Does it feel good? Does it feel right? Do you feel opening, releasing, relaxing? Or do you feel tensing, closing down, and blocking off? Because a full body yes is your indication you're on the right path. A full body no, or even a small twinge of uncertainty, or I'm not quite sure about this, it doesn't necessarily mean don't do the thing, but look at where you can pivot. How can you make this work for you? And I always use the example of making soup. Life is like a bowl of soup, right? Life is like a box of chocolates. Your soup is supposed to taste good to you, nobody else. Only you know what is right for you. And so what you're going to do is you're going to add a little water, add a little salt, add some vegetables, add a stock, and then taste it and see how it tastes. And then let it sit and marinate overnight and taste it again tomorrow. And is it too salty? Does it need more water? Is it not salty enough? Does it need more vegetables? Whatever you need to do, this pivoting is happening in the micro moments of your life. I've been given the example of playing Marco Polo with the divine. Constantly checking in. Is this right? Is this step right? Is this step right? What would you have me do here? How about now? Where do you want me to go today, tomorrow, the next day? And you'll be constantly shifting and pivoting and reflavoring your soup to make it work. So if it's not a full body yes, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but sit down and ask, what about this? What parts of it are not quite right for me? And even when it comes to life purpose, what we do is we're playing, we're exploring, we're navigating, we're constantly adjusting and recalibrating to make it work for us. And you may have, I guess a good example for me would be, I came from the product development world. I was ready to throw the whole entire corporate world out with the baby out with the bathwater. But really that has come into play in a way that I have adapted and shifted it to work for me. And now I'm developing products that are serving not only the collective, but myself. And there is a full body, beyond a full body yes in everything that I create now. And so what you have done in the past doesn't necessarily have to be completely foregone. This is why they couldn't quite figure out what the 21st century jobs were going to be, because we're making new jobs that never existed before, that nobody could ever even plan from a cognitive standpoint. The divine is not linear, and it doesn't always make sense. And the way that we kind of combine things and create new jobs and new careers for ourselves, it's going to be unique and specific to you. And so if it doesn't make sense or it's not linear, great. That's probably the perfect thing, because when your brain comes up with it, it's got to make sense, it's got to be linear, and it's all got to flow in this milestone trajectory. It's not how the divine works, right? So I did get a little bit off topic there, but the point was full body yes is going to tell you if you're on the right track, and if there is any doubt or uncertainty, there is something to pivot and shift, right? Okay, number 3 is unhealed trauma. So if you are, again, coming out of a toxic relationship, you grew up feeling unsafe, unseen, unheard, uncared for, or unloved as a child, any one of those things sustained over time will create something called complex trauma. So the body is in hypervigilance, whether your fight, flight, fawn, or freeze is your go-to response. It doesn't matter if you have lived in that state for a long period of time, your body is going to be tired. You're going to have adrenal fatigue. You're not going to have any energy for anything. And you'll even come to a point where you question, why am I so tired? Why is just getting through the day so exhausting? Just survival is depleting. And that is an indication to you that there's some healing that needs to happen, that there's trauma housed in the body. You've got the program of unworthiness from this complex trauma. Brain spotting is freaking amazing. That's why I became a certified facilitator. It works. You can heal this. You can get out of it, but know that it will not go away until you consciously and professionally work with someone to get this out of your body and to relieve the limbic brain of this subconscious programming. So when you are running the program of unworthiness, you will be exhausted, which means you will lack motivation. You will lack any energy for anything in life, right? There is a misalignment to the truth. So that program of unworthiness, that when we talked about the full body no, right? The body knows this is not right. So it's constantly telling you something's not right, something's not right, something's not. We've got all this trauma in our body, and it's taking all of our energy to manage it, to move through life without being triggered, without being abused, without being rejected, without experiencing that pain again. Those somatic triggers, those somatic flashbacks happen to help you see where the wounds are so that you can heal them and release them and get them out of your body. Right? If you're curious about brain spotting, check out this video. It is amazing. It works. Trust me. I literally have tried everything. I'm not going to go through the list because it would take too long. But know that a trauma response it looks like overgiving. It looks like holding others' happiness over your own. It looks like putting other people first and yourself last. It looks like taking responsibility for how everyone else feels instead of yourself first. It literally will suck the life out of you. And it will take you down, all the way down to a dark night of the soul, a soul sickness, to make you realize that something has got to change, right? We're trying to do too much. We carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, feeling that it's our responsibility to make sure no one else is unhappy. To navigate life with these glass shards of trauma in our body, kind of gingerly moving, like, don't move the wrong way, don't do the wrong thing, or you're going to trigger somebody. You're going to, cause one of those glass shards to puncture an organ. It takes all of your energy just to survive. And then, on top of it, you're taking on other people's energies and other people's feelings. You're taking on the responsibility of making them happy for fear of making them uncomfortable or making them angry or making them upset. But the truth is, that's not your job. Yes, the hypersensitivity and the empathy was developed in early childhood in that trauma to help you see how to survive so that you could navigate the room and figure out, who do I have to be careful around? How do I need to adapt and evolve? What kind of chameleon do I need to turn into today to prevent more pain, more rejection? These are gifts. They can be gifts once you learn how to sit in the discomfort of someone else's feelings. To say, I feel that I've made you uncomfortable, but I'm okay with that. I feel you, but I'm not going to fix it for you. Your happiness is not my responsibility. In fact, the way you respond to me says everything about you and very little about me. Thank you for showing me what's inside of you and where you need to heal. It's no longer your responsibility to make people happy. It's no longer your responsibility to do anything other than make yourself happy. The old German proverb, sweep in front of your own door, is one of my favorites, because if everyone in the world took care of themselves and only worried about themselves, stopped judging everyone else, stopped trying to control and manage everyone else, stopped trying to fix everyone else's problems, if we all just took care of ourselves, imagine. If I'm taking my responsibility and I'm making myself happy and you're making yourself happy and they're doing the same for themselves, what does the world look like? As long as we're not stepping on each other or hurting each other to make ourselves happy, which is completely unnecessary, it looks like a very beautiful place. Think about it. You take care of you, I'll take care of me. Together, happy we will be. It just happens to rhyme. So, it can be very unmotivating, it can be very exhausting to be so external. It's time to be internal, to pay attention to how you feel, to listen to the body, to heal the trauma, to follow your purpose, follow your divine guidance. Stop trying to do so much. Just take care of you. Your purpose is to set yourself free, to follow your joy compass, to find your bliss, and it will lead to something that contributes to the greater whole. And even if you're not of service, just purely raising your vibration is enough. The tide rises all boats. As you rise, so will the collective. Right? We're not looking for the push. We're looking for the pull, in the sense that it pulls us. We are not efforting, we are not forcing. Pushing, forcing, and efforting equal resistance. You shouldn't have to try hard. Ease, surrender, trust, faith, guidance equal flow. I'm going to say that one more time, because this is like the key to life. This is how you find happiness. This is how you find freedom. This is how you find motivation. This is how you find healing. Judgment, control, criticism, pushing, forcing, efforting equal resistance. Ease, surrender, faith, trust, allowing equal flow. That's where we want to be, my friends. That's where the motivation comes. That's where you gain all of your energy and your power back. That's when you move mountains. So if you would like any help with healing complex trauma, identifying your life purpose, or learning how to make a living doing it, I have a course and coaching program. I would love to assist you in this path. I do offer free 30-minute sessions. There's a link below, so check that out. Otherwise, I would appreciate very, very much just a little comment, maybe an emoji, a thank you icon would be enough. It does really help support the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate your being here with me. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you on the next video. Take care, my friends. Namaste.